I know you're tight turnaround, getting ready for the draft, back home, relaxing a little bit, but also staying on top of it. So I appreciate you making some time here and carving it out for us.
Yeah, thank you, Christian. Thank you for having me. I started out at LSU, like we talked about. I had a great time down there for 2 years, won a national championship. It was all cool and everything. I feel like a lot of guys from up north want to go down south to play baseball. It's always just the thing that's talked about, like the SEC, the glamorous of it and everything. You have one home, you have one state where you're from, and Pennsylvania, if you're from Pennsylvania, like there's one state school, it's Penn State. Like that's the school that is representing Pennsylvania. So it's really cool to have that opportunity to go to the state school and make something of it.
Quarterback sneak right side, touchdown, Penn State!
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated it.
So we got Paxton Kling. Just coming off a great season, brother. I appreciate you hopping on. And I'm a big baseball guy. Baseball's in our family, so this is going to be fun for me. And like I said, brother, I know you're tight turnaround, getting ready for the draft, back home, relaxing a little bit, but also staying on top of it. So I appreciate you making some time here and carving it out for us.
Yeah, thank you, Christian. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So let's go into this a little bit. You know, Pennsylvania kid, went back down to LSU, started your career down there, ended up circling it back home and finishing out at Penn State. Part of what I would consider a pretty successful season, all things considered. 33 wins, good run in the Big Ten tournament, and then you yourself, you know, had a hell of a year. So kind of talk us through that process, man. Talk us through what ultimately led you back home. I'm sure Coach Gambino played a big role in that. He's a stud. I love spending time with him. So dive into that a little bit for us.
Yeah, I just start. Coach Gambino is awesome. He's the man. He's very personable, and you really get to know him when you're there. And like, he's just a great human being. So my journey, man, I started out at LSU, like we talked about. I had a great time down there for 2 years, won a national championship. It was all cool and everything. I feel like a lot of guys from up north want to go down south to play baseball. It's always just the thing that's talked about, like the SEC, the glamorous of it and everything. So I went and chased it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's see what I can do. Went down there for 2 years, played both years. And then I was like, I want to get an opportunity to play every single day in every single game. So hit the portal and thankfully came back home. This was the perfect opportunity for me to come home. Penn State wasn't much of a baseball school as it is now when I was getting recruited out of high school. The program just wasn't moving in that direction at that point. And then Coach Gambino took over. The first season he was there, won 29 games, almost won the Big Ten tournament, which would have taken him into a regional bid. So I was like, wow, like these guys are really turning the page here. So hit the portal, had my options, and ultimately decided to come home. Like, you get one home, Penn State is my home. So like I said, I live like 15 minutes down the road from State College, and it meant something to me to put Penn State on my chest rather than another school. When I won my national championship down at LSU, it was a bunch of Louisiana guys on the team. And they talked about all the time how great it is to represent their state. And I'm sitting there like, well, I'm not doing that. I'm just down here to play baseball. And like, it kind of changed my mindset about it after winning a national championship and seeing those guys wanting to do it for their state and their families and everything. And I was like, well, why don't I do that for my state? So came home and decided to try to do that with Penn State. Thankfully, we had a pretty good season. This is the second most, pretty sure the stat was second most wins since 2000 with our 33 wins. So the trend of this program is moving in the right direction under Coach Gambino and his staff.
Yeah, you brought up a bunch of good points. So I was born in northeastern PA, but I grew up down in south central Virginia, right just south of Charlottesville. And you talked about all these guys from the north wanting to go south to play, and that's one of the things that when O'Connor got that job down there, I watched him. There was always 5 or 6 dudes from Pennsylvania that were on that roster when they started really making pushes for national championships down there. And I think that's like part of it's probably weather driven. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but at the end of the day, what I've seen from afar is just talking with Gams and watching you guys and how you guys carry yourselves and go about your business, and then also what the school is putting into that program in terms of renovations. It's an awesome park. You guys just, weather depending, get to enjoy it the way for a certain part of the season there. But talk a little bit about, like you said, the PA guys, like when you said the program's trending in the right direction, like what are some of the things that you're starting to see, and what would be super enticing for somebody to jump on that ship as opposed to looking at those other options for a multiplicity of reasons I assume you're probably going to get into, but talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like you have one home, you have one state where you're from, and Pennsylvania, if you're from Pennsylvania, like there's one state school. It's Penn State. Like that's the school that is representing Pennsylvania. So it's really cool to have that opportunity to go to the state school and make something of it. So another thing is, like, I like to think of Pennsylvania, mostly where I'm from. I'm from central Pennsylvania, cornfields, everything. Like I love it where I'm from. I like to think of Pennsylvania being very blue collar. And it means something to be blue collar, and just every day you're grinding and every day you're getting after it just to get better. And that's what Penn State baseball does. They really grind, get after it, and have that blue collar feel. There's no white collar. Hey man, you're giving everything. Like you're going to earn what you got. And it's really impressive because I feel like that program wasn't at that point a few years ago, and now it is. So now it's trending to the Pennsylvania lifestyle. So I think it's just a really cool setup that Gambino's creating here at Penn State. And if you're from Pennsylvania, like a state kid, why not go play for your state school and try to make something of it and make this place a program that wins national championships?
Yeah, talk a little bit about Gambino and Wheels and maybe some of the efforts from the player side, right? Like I talked about just an outsider, every athletic program up there is getting a bunch of money injected into it.
No doubt.
Talk a little bit about that from the player side and what you saw throughout your time there.
Yeah, so I mean, Wheels does a really good job with the NIL boosters and everything. Thankfully, we don't get to see much of that. Like when we went down to Puerto Rico, like we had a little dinner that the boosters held and everything. But other than that, like you're kind of away from it, which is good because you get to focus on your craft, which is baseball. So there's not like where I came from. It was kind of more at LSU. It was more like, hey man, you got to go to this event. You got to go to this event. You got to please people. Here it's like, listen, like you're here to do one job and it's to play baseball. So we're going to do that. So it's really cool because people have your back, and Penn State has like the biggest alumni core or whatever. Like that's really cool, and people have your back through that. But you don't really have to experience the meet and greet, shake everyone's hands. It's just, hey man, you're here to play baseball, so we're going to let you go play baseball. You just know the boosters got you. But like you said, they're throwing a ton of money into Penn State athletics as a whole, which is really cool because, I mean, at this time in life, like guys are getting paid to play sports. Yeah, it's just the reality of it. So why not try to get in on that and experience it while it's still here? Because who knows whenever they're going to take it away.
Yeah, one of the things I think is pretty cool, and I think you were kind of dancing around it there, and I liken it. My one younger brother played baseball at Clemson, and that's like when you want to talk about, similar to LSU, I'm preaching to the choir here, but the way that those folks care about baseball down there is much different. It's, to your point, probably on track with like football at Penn State, where, even when I was there pre-NIL, it was, hey, go shake these hands, go to this event, go do these things. So talk a little bit about that build process, right? Like, I think that's a really cool thing. It's the parallel for me, like when I went to Penn State, the time I went, like it was right after the sanctions, all that stuff. And one of the enticing things was like the ability to like you said, just focus on ball, because you have all this other noise that's around you. And like, I can go in here and have, the backing of a great program, well-funded, like no worries there. But just be able to kind of focus on the tackling and the throwing and the catching, which is awesome. Right. So I think that that's a unique value prop that Gambino and Wheels and the whole staff up there has, is that ultimately you're going to get a chance to be the guys that get this thing to the next level. And subsequently the class after you and the class after that and the class after that are the ones that are ultimately hopefully going to reap the benefits of the work that you put in. So do you take any pride in that? Do you see any parallels to that comparison there?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like you as an athlete, it's very hard to play. Like it's very hard to just make the game and leave everything off to the side. Like you got to juggle a lot of things as a student athlete, so you don't want to handle all these other events off the field. You just want to be a player. You know what I mean? So like it's important that they do this with the NIL and not having to shake everyone's hands, but still show face to please the people. I think that's really important because, like I said, it makes you the best player you can be. But obviously with NIL and money and everything that's involved, like you got to show face and introduce yourself and be a good person. Which is really unique because you build connections through life when you do this. Like when we went down to Puerto Rico, we had that little NIL dinner or whatever. Like I met a guy that used to play volleyball here from Puerto Rico that sends money to the fund. And like I was like, dude, we're in Puerto Rico. Like then they're sending money from Puerto Rico to Penn State. Like it's just really cool to experience that. So like, you know, the backing of Penn State is all over the place. Like the connections are everywhere. So, and what I love about Penn State, just from growing up here, like if you went to Penn State, like, you know, they went to Penn State. Like they're always decked out in Penn State stuff. They always have Penn State stuff all over the cars. Like, you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah. I know
so
exactly.
it's like, it's a really cool, unique vibe that you get from everyone from Penn State and mostly the boosters. Like they're extremely nice and they just want to be personable with you and get to know you. So it's a really cool setup.
Yeah. So I appreciate all that, man. And let's I want to be conscious of your time. So what's next, man? Where are you at? What's your mind space like? How's everything going? You had a hell of a year. So
thank you.
Where's your brain at?
Yeah. I mean, the season just ended, like a week ago. I haven't really got into it, just trying to keep my head down and work. I mean, you know how it is. Like when the season's over, it's over, but you got to keep working. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of great options and opportunities coming my way. So we'll see what the best fit is for me. And at that time, I'll make a decision. But right now, I'm just going to keep working and keep training up in State College and be thankful for it.
Love it, man. That's awesome, dude. Best of luck. Enjoy the downtime with your family. Like you said, you don't get much of it, and keep your head down, but bright future for you, and appreciate all you've done for the brand, the logo, and specifically the baseball program, because that's no small task, and you've done a hell of a job representing all of us. So we appreciate it.
Thank you, Christian. Appreciate it.